Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for March 22nd through the 28th, 2021. So before we begin, I'd just like to welcome anyone who's viewing our channel for the very first time, and to just share just a few announcements. So the angel readings that I've been offering since the pandemic are still on for this month and most likely for the next month. But for now, just to make you aware of what that is, there is a special offer that I've been providing. And it's my half-hour reading for $77. I'm extending that half-hour reading to 1 full hour. So if you'd like to receive an angel reading with me, you would go to my webpage, theangelschool.com/services. The link is below this video in the description area. And what you would do is go to that page and you would select the half-hour reading as it is normally written. And once you process your payment within 24 hours on the first business day, I will send you a confirmation email indicating the special offer. And it will also come with instructions for you to be able to submit your availability. Okay? So don't worry about the scheduler on my website because it's not working. And this is the better way to do it. So just also be aware that there are no restrictions or limitations in terms of being able to use this if you've had a reading before or if this is your first time. So just I wanted you to be aware of that. And then just to make you aware that I will be sort of getting around to our monthly angel scopes for the different zodiac signs. So those will come out probably in the first week of April. But if you haven't checked out the one for this month, you can do that. As well as there's other things. There are links below to my other social media accounts where I write daily card messages, and there's some meditations and things like that. And you can find all this content there, and also here on YouTube, on the community board, you can find the writings as well. All right, so let's take a deep breath and tune in to the energy for this month and this week. Just allow yourself, and the angels are actually saying for you to massage your heart chakra. So as you breathe, just take a moment and just feel the energy in your hands, and just have the thought of activating your hands, and you're sending light, and you're massaging your heart chakra. And they wrote the word inflammation. So I've been feeling, in my meditations, it was actually sort of started to, because I've been doing some prayers and healing and guided meditations where I've been doing work for the planet and the ascension process. And so I was really starting to feel, and I had to kind of pull back, and they told me to rest, and I didn't realize. So if you're doing things like this, like me, and you're, doing it on a regular basis, be aware that if you get messages to rest, that it may be about the work and not just about getting more sleep, which is also important, and, having more relaxation. But they also mean that you can take a break from the work, or that you need to in order to recuperate. But profoundly enough, in that I didn't know and what was happening, but it also allowed me to see something else, is that we are really hurting each other collectively. You know, there's been so much pain and so much blame and so much harshness. And that's why they were talking about compassion and really starting that practice. And so we may also be hurting ourselves with a lot of criticism and judgment and fear. And so they want you to just to massage your heart chakra and give yourself some light and compassion. And just be aware of it. Allow, as you do this, that light is just clearing away any debris, any of that inflammation that's being created, and it's just soothing it. And so it might be a particular color that you see that soothes that energy for you. And just breathe and allow your heart to be open. And for some of you, what you might need to do is that you might need to place around you. So I'm just going to trust that one of my teachers gave us this sort of what's called a Faraday cage, and it just mirrors. And so what you're going to do is just call on it if you need this, if you're feeling like really overwhelmed in your heart chakra and just in general with a lot of energy, and to just ask for it, and then ask that within that you are able to feel peace and harmony and balance and unconditional love and anything that you feel that you need, and that the mirrors reflect that out to wherever the energy is coming into you, whether it's coming from people or situations, that's what the mirrors are reflecting back out. But they're also shielding you from taking on the responsibility and the weight of all of that. Because when we kind of tune in and try to help and do our part, we are taking on that. And so we need to create these boundaries, is what this Faraday cage can do for you. And so just in case you need that, okay? And even when whatever you're doing, like whatever you're giving yourself, so whatever you're giving yourself is what they're giving, since like they keep writing the word massage. So as you're massaging your heart chakra, that the mirrors will be sending out that same healing to them, to whomever, wherever, whatever situation. You don't have to worry about any of that. It will just occur. Okay? And that should help to just relieve it. Now, when I first did it, I felt sort of a burning sensation because there was such an impact of intensity coming towards me. So if you feel that, just know that it can work, or you can feel different things, but depending on what's going on, that might be why you feel that sensation. Just letting you know that it's working immediately. And when you feel like it's starting to increase again, and then just reinforce it and then continue with your day and just set your intention again. Okay. So, yeah, this is going to be really, really important for you this week. And I'm just being guided right now to go ahead and tune into the Archangel Oracle card for the week. And I'm seeing sort of like windows and books. And we have the Archangel Gabriel, which is interesting. So this Archangel Gabriel's name means the strength of God. And this is the card of leadership. Now, the windows that I felt like I was seeing, and then I saw like a book. And so, Archangel Gabriel is sort of in charge of communication and like in the arts. So there's a sense that you might you may need to speak your truth. You may need to sound your truth in this week, and there's a sense of opportunities really opening up for you, and really being able to sort of seize the opportunities that are there, being able to see them. It's almost like a panorama of windows that I felt like I was seeing there. And so just really, really be aware of your own alignment. And they're showing me the tree, and it almost feels like I can feel the energy, the circumference of the energy around this tree, as if it's a vortex in and of itself. So, and it's a wide trunk. And so this is good. The thing is, it just feels like you're really, in this particular, get the sense of being really connected and being this center focus or center of attention. The sense of the tree's branches really sheltering others. And so there's like an umbrella that others can stand under and feel protection and receive guidance that is needed. So you might find yourself in this position where, and I saw a cross on the tree, which is my symbol for suffering or pain, where people might be needing support. Now, earlier I was seeing the word reconciliation. So if there has been something in your world, so to speak, as if think of this tree and these branches, if there's been something going on in your world under your charge, and you see, because I almost feel like you're the tree and you're seeing the pain that's being created around you in your environment, but you're the one who can see it, and you can see the dynamics and what's underlying and what's motivating them, and you have the ability to bring some kind of clarity to help people resolve the issue between them or within themselves. Because it may not be that it's necessarily like a disagreement, but that people are struggling within themselves to trust themselves, to take a step towards an opportunity that's right in front of them. And this becomes your opportunity, because this is what, in a sense, in that moment, you're being called to do. And it might even reveal to you something about yourself. So in that moment, it's a sense of, in that moment when you see the potential of someone else and it's shown to you so clearly, and you feel this connection of the heart between you. And when you share that, you will discover who you are. And I'm keeping this sense of, it could be like somebody's just, and that's, I'm just having this idea of example of in technology, and they're having trouble resolving some kind of glitch or something. And that in that moment, when you reveal to them their potential, you figure out something that you're really good at or something that you're meant to do. You have an aha moment in that. That's just a sense that I'm getting, okay, about it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that it's this, spiritual thing where everything is spiritual, because we are at our core divine beings, right? But we're in this world, and in our humanity, in our three-dimensional construct, we have all these different things that we're focusing on and different roles that we play, and every one of them is being used. Every one of them is being used to help reunite another person with the confidence in their well-being, in their excellence, in their potential, in their divinity, in their talents, in their gifts. Okay, so the card says it's time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. So don't be afraid to guide others. They're writing messages. Listen to the messages. And it's a sense of recognition, the word I just saw. You will know because you will recognize. It's a sense of recognition. You will see it. It's almost like the Six of Wands. You know, that idea that in that card, it's about success and victory, but only from the perspective I feel in this moment, in this context, where you recognize someone's true potential, true talents, and true gifts. In that moment, nothing is taken for granted. Everything is fully appreciated. And it's sort of a give it, because you think about all the different cards in that of six in the different suits, the Six of Pentacles. It's about that balance, like giving and receiving, and so that just comes to me mind as well, that it's this exchange. And that's what I was just talking about, in the sense that when you lovingly guide others, you're also receiving, because you learn. That's a word that they wrote out earlier. You learn something about yourself, something that's important to your journey, your spiritual journey, where your life is headed. Something that helps you fill in the piece about a part of a goal that you're working on currently. So don't be afraid to step up into this position, and when you feel that connection and you have that moment of recognition of someone else in their true worth, value, in their true form, then go forth and don't be afraid to be that leader in that moment. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the cards for the week, and let's see what's coming up for the beginning of the week. Well, wow. We just cannot get away from this card. It keeps coming up in the daily card messages. This is going to be like the 6th time this month, I think. And so this is a card of transformation. I mean, it's telling us that we have a lot of things that we need to let go of in order to be able to embrace everything that's in the process of unfolding for us. It's really, this card, death, scares us. I mean, from the moment we realize at a very early age that our life is not permanent, and that life is really impermanent, this drives everything that we do, because we're thinking that we don't have eternity, right, any longer. And so it causes us to want to make the best of every day of our lives. And it's also the thing that we judge ourselves by when we don't feel like we've lived up to our expectations. And in that little bit, and there's so many other dynamics, but that one's coming through right now. And that little awareness, we tend to get stuck, because when we start regretting, then it's like digging. It's like your car, like you just drove right into the mud, and then you're trying to get out, but you're not taking the time to figure out how to get yourself out. So you just keep spinning the wheel, and you just keep, digging deeper and getting yourself stuck even more. So the thing is the lesson that we get is that life is meant to be impermanent, which means not just to focus on our last breath, but to focus on all the process of change, that as you desire more, you are calling forth, you're summoning forth actual change. So we have to always think it normal that we have to adjust and adapt so that those changes can give birth through us, so they can emerge through us. We can't hold on to everything. If we hold on to everything, it's like hoarding, and then we weigh ourselves down. And that makes it even more difficult, because these things become attachments. They become obligations, responsibilities. And it's like having multiple balls and chains around your feet, and you will feel stuck. So the idea here is to quite often lighten your load, to recognize that when you're in a season for a reason that is now no longer, well, let's put it this way first, that has now been fulfilled and completed. So it's sort of like people, they come into your lives and we want to hold on to more things, but we have to understand that the season that these people, everyone is in our lives, or things are in our lives for a season. And then that reason has been, for that season, the lessons, the interaction, the reasons behind that interaction, when they come to an end, we have to embrace that and release it. Because when that is done on the spiritual level, it means that there are new gifts, new opportunities unfolding. And you need to be free. So, those, I hear a lot now, this word rehoming, and people are rehoming things, in preparation for something else. So they take the time to recognize, okay, this is no longer serving me. I'm no longer feeling the connection to it that I did before, and that I can rehome it to someone else who might. And that helps us, or decluttering is another thing. These things are good spiritual practices, because not only are they just good spiritual practices, but they're good practices. They're practical practices. And, one of the things that I always found with my mother, it was so easy for her to just go through, because she cleaned every day. She couldn't help it. And she would just throw anything away, and even our homework, because she told us not to leave it, to put it away, to organize it. And if we did, she would do it. I mean, she'd give us a chance to find it in the trash, but she would do it anyway, to teach us to be responsible, to handle things in that moment that should be handled and dealt with. But it also taught us that, of course, I still didn't pick it up. I'm telling you this now in the moment. But it taught me as well to not hold on to things. And we didn't have a lot of money, but a lot of things were always coming to us, and it was just a miracle, the things that happened. And I believe because she did not hold on to things, that she was able to manifest so many things in her life. So be aware of this. This is not coming to scare you, but it's coming to remind you of life and how it really is supposed to work here for us. Things happen in cycles. We're not supposed to get stuck in them. And when we're doing that, it's because we're holding on to too much, too often. And we're being impractical in our practice. All right, so the next card, and it's interesting, we have these colors, right? Similar colors here. So this is the 3 of Pentacles. So this is about the card about, working, first of all, working together is how we often see this card, right? Collaborating on a project, and really getting, this is a card of productivity, so that we're better when we work together. When you have a team, you can bounce ideas off. You can resolve things, because, and this is what's really important that's coming to me, because it's about perspective. One of the things about the life review process when we cross over, just so interesting that it's popping in my mind in the next of death card, is that the way that we heal, that each soul heals, is that you see it through the eyes of every person, of every circumstance or event that was something that you were holding on to. This is the way to clear the baggage. This is the way to let go, to release, because without that understanding, you're only seeing it through your ego's perspective. And so you might need this kind of, you might need perspective in order to really get going, to get moving on a project, or to get out of a rut that you're in. So if you've been feeling like you're in a sort of a dead end, then get some perspective from people that you have a connection with, a heart-to-heart connection with. Not just people who only going to tell you what you want to hear, but people whom you have a heart-to-heart connection with. And that when the truth is offered, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't bruise you. It enlivens you. It enlightens you. Okay? And so you might need that perspective. And maybe you're being a little shy about getting it because you don't want to let go, right? You don't want to see the truth because you don't want to get out of this, but everything you're saying is that you do, but you're afraid, and your fear is at that moment being more powerful and controlling than your spiritual desire. So get some perspective, see it through different eyes. And I'm not saying get everybody's opinion, right? But again, if you choose people with that heart-to-heart connection, and also we have to realize that we can't do it all by ourselves. It's like, well, this is kind of gone off the topic, but I'll do it anyway. Because, we think about companies, right? And the people at the top get all the money, and, say all the board members and blah, 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 and all the people who work in the company. Sometimes some companies get decent salaries, but the point is that everybody who works there has made the fortune of that company, and in truth really deserves an equal part. Just because somebody started it, came up with the idea, as long as we have these kind of imbalances in our society, we're never really going to have the justice, the equality. I really think the equality starts with this piece, the financial piece, because it seems to always be, as the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's a very true saying, whether you're from another faith or not. And that's the point where I see that balance really starting, even for other issues that are discriminated. I believe that is the core of it. And so what I'm saying here is that when we in that collaboration, everybody is contributing. We just don't get anywhere truly by ourselves. You might come up with an idea today, and you might start a company, but in truth, you can't do it by yourself. Like, you could not, like in a company, going back to that, they couldn't mass produce everything with one person. So if you came up with the idea and you feel like you can just do it and never hire anybody else, okay, good luck. But it really is that we are people who do need people. And it's something we have to learn to honor and respect. And so don't feel that you're weak because you need that outside perspective. Okay. Don't fear it. And don't fear other people's motives. But again, that heart connection. Now, interestingly enough, talking about heart connections here, is the Queen of Cups here. And this is such a beautiful card. And so it's interesting because you can see the energy of her hair is just sort of swirling around her. And that just makes me think of what we were doing earlier, needing to really sort of create some kind of shielding around our energy so that we're not, just taking on the responsibility of everything, and so that you have this sense of perspective. The shield gives you an idea of boundaries. It says, one, it's spiritually doing what we were asking, but in other ways, symbolically, it's reminding you that you need to establish boundaries, that you need to make sure your giving and your receiving is balanced and equal, right? So you don't get overwhelmed. And this just confirms what we're just saying here. In this week, in your actions and whatever it is you're doing, make sure you're really, being aware of that heart-to-heart connection, because that's so important. If you don't feel a heart-to-heart connection, then that is not, it's like when your heart's activated in that way, that means that's your purpose, your link. That's the sort of like the assignment. You know that the universe has placed that assignment in your heart, and then fulfill it. But if you don't feel it with another person, that's not the person. Because this is something you have to be aware of. That and especially in this, what the leadership card is talking about, and what we were talking about earlier, you're not meant to help everybody. The universe is orchestrating all of these, I don't want to call it like little dramas throughout and little storylines and scenes, and we're not meant to be in all of them. And you will know by your heart activation, when you feel a heart-to-heart connection with another person, when they're talking to you about their problems, if you're meant to help them, your heart will be activated, but you will feel that their heart is receptive to yours. But if you don't establish boundaries, you'll be sort of like the bleeding heart type. And you're just always, you have no sense. You just bleed for everybody, but you're not paying attention to whether they're open to you. And you can feel that difference. So if you're the kind of person who's like always bleeding the heart all over the place, and you start talking to people, and you can feel, because you can feel everything when you're like that, you can feel like they don't want to be bothered with whatever it is that you're doing or what you're going to offer. That person, if you speak to them, then there might be a confrontation and you'll feel more wounded. But that's like stepping in it. That's looking, it's like you're it's like a passive aggressive thing where you're, playing the martyr, so to speak, and you're just looking for somebody else to confirm whatever it is that you're feeling that's unfortunate about yourself. And you're just looking for people to just stick another one in my chest, kind of idea. So be aware of the need for boundaries. And this is what the Queen of Water in this the Queen of Cups kind of helps you to be aware of. So you're very intuitive. She's very intuitive. She's in touch with her surroundings, her feelings. She's a powerful nurturer, warm and loving, supportive. And you might be called upon to be that this week. Again, you might be called upon to really uplift others and share that guidance and that wisdom, helping to give them that perspective, showing them and revealing to them where things are beginning and ending for them, helping them to be able to take that trust, to take that next step, to move forward, to get up out of there. They're writing the word compassion. So you have this amazing ability to offer compassion. So it feels like that when they wrote the word compassion in front of me, now this is that piece where now this week, hopefully you were practicing compassion towards yourself and compassion towards the world. Maybe you were doing it on a more general level. But now this week, it seems as though it's going to be directed to specific situations. It was almost like last week was just practicum. And now this week, it's applied practicum. So just be aware of that. All right, so let's take a look at the card I already pulled from the bottom. And it's the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, and look at the colors. There's a lot of warmth, which makes so much sense now when you see all these cards together, coming from when we see the personality that we might be embodying in the Queen of Cups, or there may be someone that comes into your circle who embodies this for you. You may be the one. Some of you may need the guidance, and this is not about one-sidedness. So but this warmth and just these colors and this card here just gives you a sense of what I've been trying to say about that compassion. They're writing the word compassion again, and these colors, the combination of them, really sort of give you a sense of if you're a visual person about compassion, this would be a visual. They wrote, I just saw a circle with the letter A, and I thought of angels, and then I thought of this sun. So there's something about this on the horizon here. And they showed me a cross, but it was a very ornate cross, like a risen Christ cross kind of thing. And so to me, when I see the regular cross, it just looks like wood. But this means that almost that your pain is going to be transformed. It becomes a symbol of hope. A symbol of hope. And her line here, looking at the horizon, and there's a sense of waiting, but still investing yourself, right? So although she's just lying there, but it's like she's still invested in what she's done, and so she's waiting. You can see here sort of there's some kind of crop here, but there's still more. Even though it looks like it's ready, this person knows that the timing of this. She's worked with this for a very long time, and so she knows that there's a little bit more that needs to be done before everything is ready. And so she's willing to invest herself in this because of the reward. So it's like whatever struggle you're going through right now, it's going to bring great rewards. It's going to transform into rewards. So don't ever, and this is hard for us, it's hard for me, don't ever feel, I'm going to say it this way, it may not make sense, but don't ever curse don't ever curse your hard times. Don't, what I mean by that is don't criticize it. Don't beat up on yourself, because, it's like the diamond in the rough. You might be under the pressure, but what it's forming you into is this beautiful opportunity that will have these amazing facets that will light up. And when they light up, they will shine pictures all around you that will present you with the clarity and the opportunities and the potential. You'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to move towards it and bring it in, manifest it. So don't give up on this investment of whatever it is you've given yourself to. If it's a project, whatever it is, don't give up on it yet. Stay in it. And, take the advice here. Get perspective. Let go. You might be holding on to an idea, a specific idea that's outdated, but you aren't recognizing that. And that's where someone else's perspective might help you to see that this other facet. And then you're like, it makes it easier for you to let go because you realize, oh, you were beating yourself up about this because it wasn't working, when it wasn't working because it was trying to show you there's something else that works better, but you weren't able to detach and look at it or be open to that idea, even though they were giving it to you. All right, so hang in there. And this is how you might help others, or someone else might help you in this week, okay? So I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and remember to be kind, to be compassionate, all right? Do no harm, and be aware of that from the meditation at the beginning of this week. Massage your heart, set those boundaries, put up that Faraday cage, set the intention, and the mirrors will reflect that beautiful intention here. Because what you're offering to yourself, you're giving to others, because you and all of us are one, right? So, really be aware, and don't take everything into your heart. Don't take everything personally, because when you do that, now we're going to feel the effects of what our ego has been manipulating and numbing out. We don't have that ability anymore, because the ego is really operating sort of as a phantom experience, not in the direct control. It lost that control. So what's happening now is you're exposed to feel the truth of what we're doing on our individual lives and on the collective what's unfolding. So don't take it personally, because it's just this sort of old tape of the ego, and we're all not willing to let that tape go and start practicing the empowerment of compassion. Your higher self, your I am presence, is now your front and center guide. And we have to start, it's like a new device, it's an upgraded device with all new tech, and we have to learn to use it. Right now, you're trying to go back to your old one, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so you're just playing with those old ideas. But if you pick up the new one and learn and get to know it, you'll start to get in the habit of this practice. And compassion is the practice for the higher dimensions, the new paradigm, a new conscious awareness. All right, have a beautiful week, and God bless you.